Hello and welcome to PCB Chat, where we talk with experts across the printed circuit design, manufacturing, and electronic supply chain fields. I'm Mike Buteau, Editor-in-Chief of PCD&F and Circuits Assembly. First, a word from today's sponsor. This podcast is brought to you by Turnkey Pro from Sierra Circuits. What if you could source your components, upload your specs, and receive an instant quote in less than 15 minutes? What if your designs could be fabricated and assembled and delivered to your door in 5 days with a guarantee of 0 defects? Then try Turnkey Pro from Sierra Circuits for your next design and use promo code PCBChat to receive $200 off your next order.
Merger and acquisition activity took a bit of a breather last summer as COVID protocols kicked in, but it's really heated up since calendar flipped to 2021. My guest today has been involved in the printed circuit material industry for more than 40 years, and lately the M&A activity has been swirling around him as well. Bruce Mahler is Vice President and General Manager at Ohmega and Ticer Technologies. Both are part of Quantic Electronics, a newly formed company. We're going to break down what that means for printed circuit board engineers today. Bruce, welcome to PCB Chat.
Thank you, Mike. It's a pleasure talking with you and with your audience. And as you said, it's been a bustle of activity the past 6 months and maybe even before in terms of the M&A activity and changes within the industry.
At the end of last year, Arcline Investment Management, which is a private equity firm, acquired Ohmega Technologies. Let's start with Ohmega and how you got to where you are today.
Ohmega Technologies was founded in 1983 as an independent company manufacturing the Ohmega-Ply embedded resistive product and run as a privately held company for all those years. A decision was made by the owner-president of the company, Alan Levy, in late 2019, to look at acquisition of the company for continuity of supply. Ohmega supplies the resistive foil to many customers for many applications, and a big part of that is the military aerospace industry. And a lot of the programs are long-term programs, multi-year programs, which is design the technology in things like ASA radar, absorber applications, copper control parts, heater elements, SAL, a number of things. And so continuity of supply is very critical. Not only has it been supplied for decades, but for years forward, we want to make sure that Ohmega-Ply was available and being supplied to the industry. So Alan decided, again, late 2019, to look at the possible acquisition of Ohmega. And there were a number of interested parties that liked what they saw in our technology and the direction we were headed. And ultimately, Arcline Investment in San Francisco decided that Ohmega definitely fit within the charter of what they wanted to do and where they were growing and acquiring companies in the electronics industry. And so in December of 2020, acquired Ohmega Technologies, and we became of Arcline. Now, Arcline formed in early 21 a specialty company, components company called Quantic Electronics. And that is an umbrella organization of which Ohmega is a business unit, along with a number of other recent acquisitions like Corey Microwave, PMI Microwave, Evans Capacitor. These are some of the companies that make up the Quantic Electronics field. And the focus is in specialty components, that is the microwave, capacitive product, resistive products. There'll be others added to that group as the focus is growth and acquisition. And recently, last month, Quantic went out and acquired Ticer Technologies, the other maker of embedded thin film resistive products. Merging that with Ohmega Technologies basically said, hey, this is the direction the market's going. This is ones that we want to be part of. And now we're a one happy family.
Okay, we have the timeline. Let's talk about some particulars. And I'd like to start with the businesses themselves. So, Ohmega, which for listeners, if they don't know Ohmega, it's spelled Ohmega, which is a play on ohm. Of course,
That's correct.
as Bruce said, makes embedded thin film resistive materials, such as Ohmega-Ply, which is very well known. And so does Ticer. And my understanding is that both Ohmega-Ply and Ticer's TCR product lines will continue to be manufactured. Is that correct?
That is absolutely correct. When we acquired Ticer, one of the main commitments we had was, again, continuity of supply. Not only Ohmega-Ply, but Ticer TCR has also been designed into a number of programs. And the customer base is looking at a continuity of supply, long-term supply situation. And so we're committed to manufacturing both the TCR sputtered thin film resistive product as we are manufacturing the Ohmega-Ply plated thin film resistive product. That is our commitment to the industry. Both are going to be continued and supplied. And quite frankly, this is where the mergers and acquisitions become very central. M&A, acquiring Ohmega, as Arcline did, now Quantic Electronics did, ultimately reaffirmed the continuity of supply. Rather than being a privately held company with a owner-president who was getting on in age, and when you start thinking about what happens in a year or 2 years or 5 years or 10 years down the road, users and major OEMs who've committed to the technology have to question, are they going to be there in 5 years or 10 years to continue supplying product for some of these very long-term programs, as many of the military aerospace programs are. So the acquisition, by a major multi-billion-dollar investment company reaffirms that, hey, we are committed to continuing this technology. And exactly the same thing with Ticer. Ticer had gone through some difficult times. They were buying product from Materion. They did not make their own sputtered foil, but bought it from Materion as a sputtered supplier. Materion was getting out of the business. They told Ticer, hey, guys, we're not going to make it anymore. It kind of forced the issue with Ticer at the end of last year, and David Burgess, the president and owner of Ticer, had to make a decision to commit very important resources to continue manufacturing the product because of the commitment to the industry. And so he acquired the Materion sputtering equipment as well as the personnel and the facilities that go ahead and produce that product. It's in Connecticut. And so it's a big nut to go ahead and acquire, but it was a commitment he made. So Quantic's acquisition of Ticer gives him the significant financial resources now to commit to that. And so we, as Ohmega, in taking over Ticer, have that same commitment. Now we have the financial wherewithal and the resources to commit to 2 operations, totally independent, one in Connecticut, one in Culver City, one making a sputtered resistive foil, one making a plated one, but committed to continue both operating sites, both technologies for the continuity of supply. So that merger and acquisition was a very significant positive step, and it was extremely well received by the industry.
So, how does Arcline plan to manage you? Are they known for being hands-on owners, or are they mostly passive?
Arcline is not known for hands-on. Arcline is known to evaluate very carefully companies that really fit in their portfolio of growth, with a positive growth, positive EBITDA, growth in the business activity. And they acquire companies they like because of how they're being run. So the last thing they want to do is impose themselves on those business units. They basically say, we picked you up, we acquired you because we like you. Go forth and continue that. And whatever you need in terms of financial support or technical support or market support or whatever you need to grow, to service the industry, to open up new opportunities, That's what they're there for. So we're allowed to run as a separate and independent business unit, our own profit and loss statement, but essentially we're empowered to go ahead and grow our company, and we know that we have larger resources that we can count on, if need be, to go ahead and to promote growth and to assist us in those growth opportunities. So to me, it's a best of all possible worlds. They're saying, guys, you're the experts on your business. Go ahead and run it. You're empowered to handle it, but we're always here for you if you need us for technical support, financial support, resource support, whatever it is. And that's a wonderful feeling. It really is.
Bruce, do you expect the distribution channels all to remain the same?
Right after we were acquired by Arcline, I hired a new director of sales and marketing, Lisa Wilhelm. Lisa Wilhelm is an industry veteran coming from TTM Technologies. And so she has given us a lot of excellent direction in terms of our sales and marketing efforts, and a lot of her experience has been significant as well. I will tell you, with the acquisition of Ticer Technologies, David Burgess is helping me. He's kind of a senior advisor for a few months, in the sale. Tom Sleesman, who is the director of sales and marketing of Ticer, now is sales and marketing manager working, with Lisa in developing sales opportunities for both Ohmega and TCR. Right now, the distribution networks overseas, that is in Europe and in Asia and in other areas, will continue. We're not expecting any kind of disruption of those distribution networks. And if anything, we're adding more distributors and distribution networks. We just put on distributors in Turkey. We put on in Israel. Look at maybe Greece. There's other areas where we're expanding. And between Tom and Lisa organizing the sales and market activity in the U.S. as well as directing distribution, we have really a good team of people here to promote both TCR and Ohmega in the industry.
When you go to market, what's the biggest hurdle right now? Ohmega has been around for a while, and the TCR lines have been around for a while. But is the issue that fabricators still need to be able to work with the material, or is the issue more that just getting it designed in from the start?
It's always a design related thing. You get designed in at the OEM level, printed circuit designer says, hey, this is a great technology. I want to use it as a tool in my PCB design. Once it's in a spec, then they go out to the printed circuit community and say, who's going to support this? And, there is a significant number of board shops, both domestic and foreign, that can run both Ohmega and TCR. So really the focus is education. I think the audience would be surprised at how many applications Ohmega and TCR are actually in. It's kind of like under the radar, no pun intended, but we actually have a lot of applications in consumer electronics, wearable devices, now in automotive, biomedical, and obviously in military aerospace, space-based LEO satellites, ASA radar systems, trim modules, just a whole variety of areas with new growth in 5G technology, the Internet of Things, and a lot more wearables and sensors. It is an education. Although it's been around a long time, both Ohmega and TCR, there are a lot of engineers who are out at the OEM level who aren't that familiar with it. And so our job is really, as a charter, is educating, teaching what's available as a tool, is what you can do with these thin film resistive technologies. And in most applications, Ohmega and TCR are not head-to-head competitive. They're very complementary to each other. Ohmega makes a 10 ohm per square product. It's used rather extensively in heater elements like microfluidic heaters for bioassays And as I said, semi-active laser activation, embedded heater applications where the 10 ohm is just ideal. And on the other side, you have a TCR 1000 ohm per square product, and it seems to be a growing opportunity for us at the higher value resistors. So most of the applications that the two technologies have are complementary, and where they do cross over, they act with extremely positive aspect of having two technologies that can be qualified for the same kind of program, both manufactured in two separate sites, one on the East Coast, one on the West Coast. One is a sputtered, one is a plated. So, it gives that supply continuity and multiple source of manufacturing supply, the confidence at the OEM level to say, hey guys, this is a great tool. These are great technologies. We can go forth and use this and have confidence they're going to be making that stuff and supplying it to us, for a long time.
One of the other moves, or a couple of the other moves, I think that Quantic has made that are looking very strategic in retrospect was the acquisition of TRM Microwave, which makes RF and microwave components, and Evans Capacitor, which kind of kicked off this whole M&A spree last year. I'm guessing that part of the idea here is that their customers are also your customers.
Yeah. I actually, the nice thing about being the vice president and general manager of Ohmega and Ticer now is I also interface very closely with the vice president and general managers of Evans Capacitor, TRM Microwave, the other acquisitions they had, Corey. There's a bunch of them. The fact is that the focus of Quantic is to grow. That's both internally growth, that's organic growth through, growing each business unit by giving them the resources and the support to grow their markets, and also by acquisition. So there are 5 of us now: PMI, Corey, TRM, Evans, and Ohmega/Ticer. That's not stopping there. You're going to be seeing a lot more acquisitions over the next number of months by Quantic as it grows this whole specialty electronic components group. It's the focus of Quantic, and they have some really top people running it. Kevin Paramus, our president and CEO, had ran Winchester Connector for 10 years. He worked at Amphenol for many years. He's industry experienced. He's a great guy. He really knows the market. Our VP of marketing, Justin, was a senior vice president at Maycom. All the people that are part of the Quantic leadership group are all industry veterans with some significant talents. And the thing that really surprises me is that when you have a mergers and acquisitions of many different companies and put them together, how well we all complement each other, how we all get along, how we're all supportive. Some of the new distributors that we have overseas, we got through contacts at Evans Capacitor. Some of the opportunities we see in some of the military aerospace applications are mutual. It's working for the same OEM, and we can both complement each other and work with each other. So there's a lot of support, internal business unit support, which is a wonderful thing. We all want each other to succeed, and we're working together to make that happen. It's unbelievable. We had our first Quantic corporate get-together retreat a couple of weeks ago in Rhode Island. We had the VP GMs of each of the business units all together with the Quantic leadership. And we got into a room to just talk, to spend a few days going over, what direction, strategy, and all that. And the thing that was really shocking, but gratifying, was you have a room where you have the guys who are running each of these independent businesses. There was no egos involved. Every one of us, all of us, were there to kind of give each other support, learn from each other, talk through issues, business things, what we can do to help each other, what we can do to support our customers, what we can do to empower and work with our employees and make them, really, really motivated and delighted to work for individual business units and Quantic in general. It's a great company and a great focus. I give them a lot of credit, and I give Arcline a lot of credit for the vision they have and where they want to go.
Yeah, it really is quite a bit of management talent that you've accumulated. I've known Kevin. He walked me through the old Teradyne plant before Amphenol had acquired it back almost 20 years ago. And at the
Okay.
time, that was probably it was arguably the best printed circuit board shop in the country. So I'm going to get some hate mail for that.
Well, I will tell you, Kevin is an inspiring leader. I've been in this industry for 4 decades, and quite frankly, I've been seen it all, and been around it all. But he has assembled a talented group of people to run Quantic, and in all of the groups within Quantic, all of us business units, the Omegas, the Evans capacitor, TRM, they're all motivated. They're all really good companies, and it's an exciting thing. You always wonder what's the trepidation of suddenly being acquired and the M&As going out there. But I'll tell you, it can be a very positive thing. And I think what you see happening with Quantic Electronics is a very positive thing. It's the right focus, it's the right development, and it puts the emphasis on the individual employees. Every employee at every company, within the Quantic organization is important. And that's the focus. It's the empowering, not just us business leaders, the VPs and GM, but every individual employee at Quantic. You're part of it, guys. You're going to grow with the companies, and that's important. We want to make this great places to work, great places to support, and great places to grow with.
Now, before we wrap, I want to get into some supply chain issues. As you know, that's really been a hot topic this year. How are things looking for you? Are you having any troubles getting any raw materials?
Yeah, that's a big issue. We fortunately don't have issues in raw materials. We our sources in terms of the materials that make up the resistive foils, both at Ohmega and at the Ticer group. I think we have good, secure supply chains. If anything, it does make it a little harder. Is that lead times have opened up a bit, so you kind of have to anticipate not what sales are going to be next month, but maybe next quarter. And so it's a little tougher to plan, but it's something that we have to accommodate. We obviously see pricing pressures on raw materials, things like copper foil, chemicals, but we also see pricing pressures on some of the packaging materials, corrugated plastic, cardboard. Wooden boxes for shipping have gone up ridiculously. I guess they'd rather use the wood to build a new house than to build a box to ship product out the door. So all those are putting pressure on the industry. So our suppliers and our subcontractors, like the laminators out in the industry, I know a lot of them are increasing prices and adjusting prices due to price pressure. We've just recently had to do the same thing. We've had after towing the line for many years, we've had to do some price adjustments just because of the increased costs that we've seen over the last half a year or so. And unfortunately, we don't see that pressure diminishing. I mean, you're having critical shortages of things like ICs on the market, critical shortages of copper, competing reasons to use it, whether it's for electronic battery or whether you use it for a printed circuit board. It puts a demand on the resources out there. That's also coupled with a shortage of people. It's very hard finding people to work. Right now, we have some open positions at Ohmega. We'd like to go ahead and hire more people, and I know at Ticer as well. So getting people and growing the business, those are challenges. As is working with the raw material suppliers and trying to keep inventory and stock. And the key here is making sure that you always have that to supply the end user, because we have an obligation to supply them. We're always going to want to have product on hand to supply. We're not going to be a gating item for any application out there.
Have you happened to notice whether any of the orders that are coming in? Do you get the sense that the order window is widening a bit? One of the things that I'm hearing is that manufacturers are getting a little, and suppliers for that matter, are getting a little bit better sense insofar as what's going to come, not just 3 months or 6 months, but even 9 months down the road.
Right. The nature of our business has always been, here's an order and ship it tomorrow. But and there's still a lot of that happening. Okay, Mike. But I will tell you that there has been more visibility. I think to the degree that our customers have their visibility, they know we're all in a bind. They know that we're all trying to forecast what kind of demands are going to be out there. So if they know that they're going to need something in 2 or 3 or 4 months from now, they'll go and let us know that. And if they can't even place an order for something that's, multi months away, which to us is great having that kind of visibility for planning. But we got to be responsive. As much as we like to have orders, 3 months from now, we know that many of our customers don't have the ability to have that foresight. So a lot of them say, here's an order, and boy, we need that quickly. And so we have to also be very responsive to that. Keep enough inventory of finished goods ready to respond and supply the industry in a timely fashion. That is happening. That absolutely has to happen. But yeah, we are seeing a little bit more visibility out there as well. Although I will tell you, it's not just, the same demand stretched out. We are seeing increasing demand out there in a number of the opportunities as we grow. Both us and Ticer. It's a very positive thing. Last year was a record year for us at Ohmega, and we're continuing that trend.
Well, knock on wood, it continues, right?
Well, absolutely. That's again, support the customers, support the applications, get the technology known. Do what we have to make sure they're satisfied. If they're satisfied, you have a happy customer. You'll have a happy Ohmega-Ticer, okay, and ultimately a happy Quantic. That's the direction we are all headed.
Well, Bruce, thank you for the insights. Our guest today has been Bruce Mahler of Ohmega and Ticer Technologies, and good luck as you work through this very hectic year.
Yep. Well, thank you very much. Appreciate it, and my regards.
This podcast has been brought to you by Turnkey Pro from Sierra Circuits. Turnkey Pro is the simplest platform for sourcing all your components, uploading specs for fabrication and assembly, and receiving an instant quote, all online in fewer than 15 minutes. Try Turnkey Pro by Sierra Circuits today and use promo code PCB Chat to receive $200 off your next order. For PCB Chat, this is Mike Buteau. Have a nice day.